I want to see if my announcement bot is still working. Oh yeah, did you get the Elon pic I sent you for the promo? Oh wait, hey, you can use whatever you want. What'd you use? Oh, that's cool. I just thought that'd be a hilarious one because there's so much pop culture shit going on this week. It's kind of funny. I actually haven't watched it yet, so I'm interested to hear what you have to say about it. Is it worth watching the whole thing? Nice. I'll have to give
Are
it a
you
shot.
talking about the entire podcast of Joe Rogan and what's his butt?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I listened to a good portion of it. It was good. It was worth hearing, that's for sure.
All right, I'll have to give it a shot.
Absolutely. Okay, let's see if Photoshop will open, and there it is.
There we go. Okay, I've got you dominant there. Dominating. Boss Dom Tweed.
Oh, not everybody gets a chance to call me that.
Hmm. Let's see. It's been an exciting week.
Has it? Has it really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That there's been a lot of internet drama this week outside of the news. Man, it's almost worth it to make a drama channel about, you know, like politics community. Like,
right.
oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's $1 million idea right there.
What?
Nobody's listening to us, so nobody's gonna do it. But that's $1 million. Like with how much money people are making off of like politics and like the people that talk about politics and like the conspiracy theory groups and like who hates who and who doesn't hate who and who's on whose side and who's not. Like,
Yeah.
it would be amazing if someone just did a show about that.
Dude, I'm like so down. Let's do it. Let's
Would you be
patent it
down?
right now.
Would you be down to do
Red
a show
Pill
about
78
that?
is listening right now. Yeah, we've got people
We
listening
might-
on the other end.
That would be an amazing show. We should almost do a show like just like that, where we just like go live and we're like, "Hey, this is what it is." That would be hilarious.
Oh, I'm down. I'm down.
Oh my god, we would be
Turn
the
it
most
into a-
hated people on the internet.
No, no, make it like a separate thing. Come on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Oh my god, we call it like oh, I know exactly what we call it too. I'm gonna DM it to you. You're gonna laugh.
I'm gonna laugh my ass
So-
off once I see this.
Tell me if this is gonna be good.
I love. Oh my god.
Word.
That is perfect. That is
That
perfect.
is so good. All right, that might be a thing. We'll have to explore that.
We're kind of in our pre-show right now, I guess.
All right, you've got the all the stuff queued up, right?
Oh yeah, man, we're good to go.
All right. Let me get that.
You guys can hear everything, right?
No. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right.
All right. Give me.
You jack that shit right the fuck up.
Oh boy. Oh, thanks, Red Pill, joining us in the Periscope. All right, I think we're ready to go whenever
ready?
you are.
All right, go ahead and take us in.
All right, all quiet on the Western Front, right? Yeah.
I believe so.
Yup.
And howdy there, ladies and gentlemen, once again. This is General Tweed speaking right now. Welcome to the Knead To Know podcast on this lovely Sunday, September the 9th, 2018. We've got Political with us. We've got Breadbox with us.
You know, I'm really starting to get a soft spot for that song.
Yeah, me too. Like it.
I really like that one.
Really like it.
Nice and chill on the way in.
All right, so what have we got on our plate today? What do we got cooked up?
It's a big plate, so we might have picked up more than we can actually eat. So we might be zipping through a couple of our clips a little quick today. A lot of stuff's happened this week. A lot of pop culture stuff. A lot of worldwide news, politics. But we're gonna follow our normal path. So we're gonna start off in North Korea like usual. And I don't know if you heard about that. There's a military parade coming up in North Korea that everybody's talking about.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Well, everybody's like staring at it, waiting to like see whether or not they're gonna have nukes in the parade. Basically,
lovely.
They think that they're gonna read some tea leaves in North Korea. Is basically what's going on.
Well, let's see how accurate it is.
Traveling on Air Force One today, Mr. Trump said he's expecting a positive letter from Kim Jong-un in the next few days. It has been nearly 3 months since the North Korean leader agreed to work toward getting rid of his nuclear weapons. Ben Tracy is in North Korea for the country's 70th anniversary.
Thousands of North Koreans have been seen practicing for this weekend's elaborate anniversary celebration. Kim Jong-un's regime is expected to stage a massive military parade on Sunday. Analysts will be watching to see if the North once again shows off the intercontinental ballistic missiles it claims are capable of hitting the United States. If it doesn't, it may be a sign Kim is serious about denuclearization. North Korea feels it has already shown goodwill
apparently they already
by
had
not
it.
testing any missiles this year. But since meeting with President Trump at a summit in June, hardly any progress has been made in getting the North to hand over its nuclear weapons. It has not yet revealed how many it has or where they are.
That's quite a couch they put that in.
Not what our government handlers decided to show us today. When you come to North Korea as a journalist, you go where they want you to go, you see what they want you to see, and what they wanted us to see today is this. This is the Pyongyang Teaching College. Inside, we saw young women being trained as elementary and middle school teachers, showing off the high-tech tools North Korea says it uses in its classrooms. Here in Pyongyang, there are some reports of anti-American propaganda being taken down around the city. Kim Jong-un has said he wants his people to focus on growing North Korea's economy. Jeff?
Ben Tracy in Pyongyang, thank you.
I don't know what to make of that one.
Well, I mean, if they're not going to show the ballistic missiles, that's definitely a step in the right direction. Those were them throwing their dick on the table, trying to scare people, and it always worked in the past. But if they're not even going to do that anymore, it's in the right direction, that's for sure.
Maybe their deposit on the rental just kind of broke or something. You know, maybe they lost that.
There's some rumors that we're going to hear in the next couple of clips that might give us a little bit of optimism about the North Korean situation. So let me take a look here real quick. Sorry, I have myself a little screwed up more than usual. All right. So we've got this parade coming up. Everyone's looking at it. And one of the things that most people aren't actually looking at, and I thought was kind of interesting, is that China kind of snubbed North Korea. Xi Jinping was supposed to show up, and he declined. Like, he canceled.
Like last minute? Oh, let's find out.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, it's not just a military parade. It's North Korea's 70th anniversary.
Come on, guys! You all got to be here for this. It's gonna be huge.
It's like the 70th Independence Day for them, basically.
Okay,
But it's more like Enslavement Day, so you know.
Don't join us for Enslavement Day, guys.
It's 3
Stand on your
months
goddamn
since Kim
spot, don't
Jong-un
fucking
made
move.
A vague promise to President Donald Trump to give up his nuclear weapons. At their
Hi,
summit
Bello.
in Singapore 3 months ago, Trump said he wanted it to happen quickly, but it's not working out that way. Trump says there's a simple reason for that: China.
I think part of the North Korean problem is caused by our trade disputes with China.
Trump says he has a terrific relationship with China's President Xi Jinping, yet he's now accused him of encouraging Kim to drag his feet over denuclearization, so China can gain leverage in its trade dispute with the US. China's foreign ministry spokeswoman says the Trump administration is incomprehensible.
America should reflect on itself first, instead of
Believe he
flip-flopping
did.
and blaming others. Regarding America's attempt to pass the buck, I am sorry, we would rather not accept.
Kim Jong-un and Xi Jinping have met 3 times this year. Those meetings all happened in China, the last encounter just a week after the Singapore summit. These get-togethers were intended to imply a warm personal relationship between them. A year ago, they weren't on speaking terms. One Chinese political commentator says the Trump-Kim-Xi relationship is a complex one, based on manipulation by all three.
Correct.
China is using North Korea to fight the United States, while the United States is using North Korea to weaken China.
China's relations with North Korea are improving. President Xi Jinping had been due to attend this weekend's celebrations in Pyongyang, but it's now been confirmed he won't be going. No official reasons been given, but one analyst suggests that Xi may have wanted to avoid antagonizing Trump at a time of heightened trade tensions between China and the United States.
As North Korea's neighbor, it's fallen to China to enforce UN sanctions. Most of what the North needs for its survival comes across an aging bridge spanning the Yalu River at the port of Dandong. Exports of coal, iron ore and seafood remain banned.
Seafood?
But Chinese officials have indicated they're not ready to go along with further penalties against the North, should the talks over denuclearization remain deadlocked. Adrian Brown, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
How about that? Al Jazeera is pretty good sometimes, man.
Clock's got to be right twice a day, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, every once in a while they get it kind of right, but I'll tell
usually they're pretty good unless it has to do about like social arguments about Islam.
That's actually pretty true.
I would imagine the moment you enter into any kind of social interaction.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate, I would say, about that. Like, I mean, you gotta temper your expectations with any news agency. You know what I mean? Just be honest about your bias, and then your.
Well, I mean, they can only say what they're paid to say. So.
Do you guys remember that Seth Rogen movie where he shoved a tracking device up his butt?
No, I don't. I don't remember movies where people are shoving things up their butts, dude.
He hung out with Kim Jong-un, and like they were supposed to like murder Kim Jong-un or something.
Seth Rogen.
Oh my God! Yes,
Seth Rogen. You said Joe Rogan.
Up his ass.
You said Joe Rogan, so that got me on a whole different tangent.
Oh, Joe Rogan. No, Seth Rogen. Come on.
Yeah, no. You said a movie.
No. We were talking about Joe Rogan earlier. I'm talking about Seth Rogen.
No, I know, but I heard Joe. I don't know why.
I know.
You know.
It'll be okay.
Yeah.
Hey, but here's the thing. You remember how that got released, right?
Yeah, that was through Netflix and through all the different streaming platforms because nobody wanted to put it out on DVD or Blu-ray.
Right, but the way that got found out about was because of the Sony hack.
Oh, yeah.
Correct. They caught those guys, or at least somebody, right?
Yeah, they attributed it to North Korea. Well, as we'll see in the next clip, there's actually a subpoena out for the hacker.
Dun.
Charges against a North Korean computer programmer for participating in a conspiracy that conducted sophisticated cyber attacks around the world on behalf of the North Korean government. Members of the conspiracy are responsible for some of the most damaging and most well-known cyber intrusions in history, including the cyber attack targeting Sony Pictures, the cyber heist of Bangladesh Bank, and creating the WannaCry ransomware.
No,
that was the Justice
it's my
Department
box.
announcing charges Thursday against an alleged North Korean hacker. The criminal complaint specifically charges Park Jin-hyuk with wire fraud and computer fraud. This marks the first time the United States has brought such charges against a Pyongyang operative. Joining me now from the White House, CBS News Washington correspondent Paula
Yeah, it's
Reed.
kind of interesting.
Right, Paula, remind
The
us of the
implications here, man, my
impact some of
God.
these hacks have had over the past several years.
We're talking about hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. In addition to the 2014 hack against Sony Pictures Entertainment, he's also alleged to have committed hacks against defense contractors, law enforcement, financial institutions, and he is also alleged to have been behind the WannaCry 2.0 ransomware attack. That attack put ransomware on hundreds of thousands of computers around the world and nearly crippled the British healthcare system. So it's a significant impact for just one alleged actor.
Well, how are they able to connect this alleged hacker to all of these cyber attacks?
They won't reveal all of their sources and methods, but what they would say is they were able to connect social media and email accounts to his activity. And they said he also attempted to use proxies to try to hide his exact location.
Well, a federal warrant was issued for this
Come at
person's
me, bro. I'm
arrest,
behind
but
7
will he
proxies.
ever realistically see jail time?
Not realistically. We've seen this when the Justice
So,
Department
okay,
has tried
go
to
ahead and kill
indict
that.
or charge.
Killed.
Yeah. So basically, you know, they said it all. Like, we're basically not going to get anything out of it. It's mostly symbolic, and it's kind of hilarious, quite frank.
It's kind of a big disclosure on a lot of things, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, now they need to catch the shadow brokers, because that's a fucking problem.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. We probably won't get the guy. But I have a weird, interesting piece of news. Do you remember President Duterte? Duterte?
From
Is that how
the
you say his name?
Philippines?
Duterte. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I used to say
I never say his name.
Duterte. I don't know.
Duterte. No, so he's actually visiting Israel right now, which is interesting because he, praised Hitler once. So I got a little clip I thought would be kind of interesting, just kind of let people know what's going on over there, because there's not a whole lot going on aside from, the constant, firefight between Israel and Gaza.
Never again. May the world learn the lessons of this horrific and benighted period of human history.
So basically, he's backpedaling as hard as
around the
possible.
world remain ever open.
Notice how
And may the
uncomfortable he
minds
feels
of
in
all
his suit.
men and women learn to work together.
It's
toward
dusty. His
providing
top button isn't buttoned.
a safe
He doesn't
haven
have his tie on all the way. His
He looks like he's been
jacket
beaten
is
up.
a size too big.
Yeah,
Thank
he
you,
looks
Tyler.
flustered as all fuck.
But yeah, he looks way out of his element there. Like he just got thrown into that suit, and then
He looked like somebody roughed him up, man.
I know, right? Maybe dehydrate a little bit.
Like, what the crud?
Okay. So, I don't know. That's pretty much all that's there. They're talking about like trade deals and whatnot. There's talk that maybe this is possibly part of the effort to move the Philippines towards the U.S. side because of the fact that we have this problem with China in the South China Sea. We're trying to consolidate power. There's very much like a cold trade war going on down there.
Strategic, I would assume.
All right. Let's go ahead and head on to the next one. We've been keeping an eye on Yemen. Normally we show you guys stuff that's like extreme, like human tragedy and like children in war zones and stuff. Luckily, that's not this week. So let's take a look at instead a failed peace process, because that's much easier to watch. I guess.
Oh man, I knew not to get my hopes up for good news. I knew not to get my hopes up.
The collapse of the peace process, even before it had begun, was a setback to all the efforts of the UN Special Envoy to the Yemen.
Watch this guy struggle to figure out why it
for me,
broke
the
down.
important aspect of these last 3 days is we have started consultations. The process of beginning the road back to peace has
the way his hair
not
flops
quite in
when
the
he
way that we would
jerks.
have wanted, but it has begun. I shall be going to Muscat during the course of the next few days, and hopefully on to Sana'a as well, of course, to discuss with her.
Before they left, a member of the Yemen government delegation told me they would now force the Houthis to the negotiating table. Their target, the port of
Eyebrows,
Hodeidah,
holy
a
shit.
vital lifeline for their economy and humanitarian supplies. The process in Geneva, instead of building trust, has exposed the gulf that separates two warring parties, and a new rift has opened the United Nations.
Every time these talks face a wall of irresponsibility by these coup plotters,
Hey
these groups who are
guys,
exploiting
it was really fucked up
international efforts
before,
of the
and then
Yemeni
we just
government
destroyed
to reach
it.
peace.
My
They are
bad.
being totally irresponsible. The special envoy was unfortunately accommodating the coup plotters and giving them excuses.
It was a long goodbye for the Yemeni government's delegation, heading home to a war-racked country with little immediate hopes of peace. David Chater, Al Jazeera, Geneva.
Lovely. Well, at least nobody died, I guess.
Right.
Well, I mean, people died, but I mean in the context of the story that we're showing.
I mean, nobody died at that meeting, right?
No, nobody died at that meeting, but there are
I'm
people
just
dying
kidding.
in droves in Yemen. Speaking of people dying, you know, we don't talk about it much here because it's really been kind of a stalemate situation. There's been some talk of, you know, chemical weapons being, you know, prepared for use and whatnot over the last week, but Syria is back in the news cycle again, strong.
Oh,
I guess there was another, like, you know, I don't know, this must be the time for peace summits. Because Russia, Turkey, and Iran failed to agree on a ceasefire for the Idlib province, and that's the huge media talking point for the week. So we're gonna take a look at this, and then we got some news stories about the U.S. military running exercises in Syria. So we'll let's take a look at this one, and then we'll go to the next one.
This was a very highly anticipated summit. Now, the three countries who are participating, Russia, Turkey, and Iran, are key players in the Syrian conflict, and they're the guarantor states of the Astana peace process, where they have been able to make some progress. However, it seems that they were not able to make some decisions in this meeting. Now, Russia's President Vladimir Putin has emphasized that rebel groups have been trying to undermine the ceasefire, while Iran's Rouhani has lashed out at the United States. Let's take a listen.
The fact is that there are no representatives of the armed opposition here around this table. And there are no representatives of al-Nusra or ISIL or the Syrian army. And I think in general the Turkish president is right. It would be good, but I can't speak for them.
The illegal presence and intervention by America in Syria, which has led to the continuation of instability, must immediately end.
The leaders issued a joint statement following the meeting. However, it doesn't seem to have an action plan or concrete steps, so it's not clear what will happen next. But what's important is to understand when it comes to Idlib, half the population is already made up of displaced people, and it seems like they don't really have anywhere else to go. And Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan has emphasized that they will likely head to Turkey, and he says that Turkey does not have any more room to host more refugees. He's already hosted over 3.5 million refugees. And I watched the video.
Oh, they did take a lot.
Reportedly filmed on
That's how.
Yeah, but he threatened to send his people. Yeah, but he's threatened people. I'll send my people at you if you don't do what we say.
So it seems they're already started.
Oh, but I won't take any more.
And some Syrians
I'll be the
It's a pretty good gun. Yeah, I mean, it's like the best thing since the nuclear weapon.
Syrians, some civilians making makeshift gas masks.
Oh, you didn't think about that, did you?
Movements of people.
You're fucking killing me.
Massive movements of people.
In Antalya for CG.
American. Oh, Jesus.
I wasn't even kidding, bro. I mean, think about that.
Oh, Jesus. That is a massive thing. Damn. God damn.
Well, I mean, Erdogan said it himself. He said, if you don't bend to my will, we're going to send mass migrants to your shit.
What the hell is going on in the world, man?
People are using people as tools and weapons of war and not as intended.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at this U.S. military news, because we usually don't have much, but this is actually kind of should tell us a little bit more about what we're doing over there right now.
Forces are carrying out previously unannounced military exercises in Syria. It comes after Russia threatened to enter parts of southern Syria where U.S. forces are. Kylie Atwood, our CBS News State Department reporter, has been following all this, joins us now from the D.C. newsroom. Okay, Kylie, what exactly are these American forces doing, and what's the significance of it? Why are they doing it now?
Right. So, Brooke, as you said in the introduction there, the U.S. is carrying out military exercises in southern Syria. Why is this so extraordinary? Because they were unexpected. The U.S. does not traditionally do this, but they're doing it because American military personnel were informed that the Russians were considering precision airstrikes in the region, which would target terrorists. But because the U.S. have troops on the ground there, they were completely not okay with that. They rejected the premise of those strikes. And they wanted to show the Russians, to show Assad, to show Iran that the U.S. is still on the ground in Syria, and it has the military heft to go after anyone that they need to. These exercises are being carried out by over 100 U.S. Marines. There are about 2,000 U.S. military personnel in Syria. So the U.S. is very much still there, and they want to show that, especially to the Russians right now.
I want to make sure I understand the connection. They're saying Russia don't carry out what you're planning because we're already doing something similar?
They're saying, Russia, don't carry out what you're planning because what you're planning is close to where American troops are. So you might hit Americans. Russians aren't very good at precision airstrikes. We're seeing them carry out assault right now in Idlib, which they claim is taking out terrorists. It's also killing a lot of Syrian civilians. So the U.S. wants to prevent that. It also wants to protect its troops on the ground.
Yeah, is this a response to what happened in Idlib? And explain a bit more about what happened there.
It's actually separate from what's happening in Idlib. As I said, Russia is carrying out an assault there. It is the last held area in all of Syria by rebels, and the Assad regime is moving in there very quickly. They've got the Russians backing them in the airspace right now. But the important thing here is that the U.S. has time and time again said that if there are chemical weapons that are used, the U.S. would consider using military heft to go after the Assad regime and his backers.
It looks like 2 hours ago, a Turkish military convoy was entering Syria. It looked like they were carrying,
she said that the U.S. would consider an assault on Idlib to be a dangerous escalation of the conflict in Syria, and saying that the consequences would be dire, indicating that the U.S. may actually carry out a military strike in Idlib, not even if just chemical weapons are used, but if traditional warfare is used.
We're there primarily to try and knock out ISIS. How is that going? What do we expect to happen with that?
That's right. And so the U.S. is thinking that in the next few weeks, U.S. officials tell me, they are going to start carrying out their last phase of that process. The U.S. has taken away more than 90% of the territory in Syria that was originally controlled by ISIS. So now it's just less than 10% that they've got to go in and target. It's going to be a very hard assault. U.S. military personnel have acknowledged that. It's not going to take that long, however. We think that it'll take a few months, and so that means that the U.S. will essentially be done with its counter-ISIS operations, technically speaking, on the ground in Syria. But we heard from the new ambassador he's actually special representative to Syria, Ambassador James Jeffrey, and he said just this week that the U.S. is not in a hurry to pull out of Syria, basically saying that even when we've defeated ISIS, we are still going to stay there on the ground so that we can be assured that ISIS and the terrorists stay away, also so that they can push on the Iranian actors that are really, really ingrained throughout Syria.
Okay, and we saw how tough and bloody the last phases of the fight to take over Mosul from ISIS in Iraq was, so we'll watch how these last parts of Syria go. Kylie Atwood in Washington, thanks so much for your time.
Bonjour, I'm from...
Yeah, man. Oh, hold that one. She's got that's a fun clip. Ooh.
Okay. That kind of but I mean, just that was a lot of information there to process.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, that was that was a lot of info.
Basically, there's a battle that's going on at Idlib province. There's a lot of politically minded people that are involved in deciding what's going to happen there, and it's not going so good. Just like every other fucking peace meeting that's going on right now. Aside from North Korea, interestingly enough.
Questionably,
are you guys tired of winning yet?
No, we're not done. I'm not tired of winning, but questionably, why are all these peace meetings happening so suddenly?
Because
I
Trump has
think these
stepped
groups
up the
want him to.
military hard as fuck everywhere around the world, and he's armed every fucking Navy ship with as many fucking F-35s as he could possibly ship out to every place on fucking planet, and he's fucking not fucking around at all. And everybody's like, "Oh shit!"
I'm looking at that that live map that you gave on that Syria Civil War. This is actually a pretty good conflict tracker.
Oh yeah, well, there's a lot of you gotta understand. There's a lot of stuff in here that doesn't involve Trump either. Like it's kind of interesting. I think actually maybe Russia is trying to take his lead a little bit.
Well, Russia also has interests with that oil, and they've been trying to push that for a while. And they didn't get rid of ISIS before Trump was around.
Probably didn't.
I think we mentioned last week that Turkey was looking at buying S-400 missile systems.
Right, I recall
which
that.
are Russian anti-air systems. And like that's a big problem for us because Russian hardware connected to the same network as like American hardware may have like espionage hardware on it and software that could find ways to compromise our systems. That's one of the big concerns with that. But otherwise, they're cutting in on our market, bro. Like that's our turf.
Got to keep them separated.
Yeah, no, that is what it is.
Oh, trust us, Bella. We can fit a lot of fuckings into a lot of different sentences.
So, moving on. Trying to get out of the Middle East now, away from warfare.
Speaking of
something into a little bit more culture warfare. Kind of transitioning. Have you guys heard of Article 13?
Nope.
Article 13 is this new regulation that's being passed in the EU that basically allows them to censor images that you send if they are deemed to be offensive.
So
and it's legislated, and you can be, penalized by law.
That allows you to censor images before they're received.
No, the law allows you to be you can be censored if you send like foul images or whatever on like social media, and then on top of that, you can be prosecuted if they're bad enough, and I believe the social media companies are beholden to these rules as well, so they're responsible for policing.
So what if we all sign onto their internet and just dump memes?
I don't know, but this video kind of explains the situation a little bit better than I can. It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, because from your description, I'm getting that this kind of sounds like a dick pic bill. But I don't know. Let's see if it's the same thing or not.
Yeah.
You got me fucking that dick pic.
See if it's the same.
It's a dick pic bill.
Bonjour,
bro,
I'm from
because
the European Union. Do you love the internet? Isn't it a totes amaze? No, look at that doggo. And the kids learning on Wikipedia. What about sharing the memes? You like that, hey? Well, fuck you then, because we're about to replace the internet with a brand new experience. The Filternet. To bring you the Filternet, we've introduced Article 13 into the copyright reform legislation about to be voted on in the European Parliament. If passed, we will install a filter to scan all content for possible copyright violations before you can upload it online. Experts warn this could bring down the whole internet as we know it. But if it makes our friends richer, we think that's a fair price to pay. FilterNet. Meet our friendly new AI filter, or Phil for short. Phil is a dumb motherfucker who cannot distinguish actual copyright infringements from legitimate content, such as commentary, criticism, or parody. Which means if you're a YouTuber trying to commentate the news, or parody a song, or a shitposter trying to keep the internet weird, Phil will be like,
computer says no.
This fuck shit will be particularly annoying for anyone working on collaborative projects like Wikipedia and GitLab, which Phil will go full Infinity War on. Oh, and Phil is very expensive, so startups will find it hard to comply with Article 13, and the internet will be even more dominated by these guys. Our friends in the US have already helped us to bring this about by killing net neutrality and replacing their internet with this shitonet. So now it's time to destroy Europe's internet with FilterNet. The best thing about Phil is that he can be reprogrammed to filter not just copyright violations, but other things too. You know, like whatever we don't like. Which means unless you call your MEPs and stop them from passing Article 13, we'll be building a censorship apparatus that will fart in the general direction of free speech. FilterNet. Because here at the European Union, we love uniting people. And Article 13 is bringing everyone together, from the left and the right, to stop us from fucking the internet. FilterNet. Authorized by the Ministry of No Memes.
Okay, kill that. So, yeah,
that was
that's
fucking
the way that works. All right. Although I will say this, she really couched that really well, because what allowed the EU to do that was not fucking. It was not net neutrality. It was Obama giving up control of ICANN to the UN.
Yeah, that was the part that we all just jumped at the same time.
Let's be clear. Like that's how that went down. Like they just completely omitted that. If he hadn't have done that, the internet would still be beholden to freedom of speech and the Constitution. The internet was owned by America. It was an American asset.
Is it still not?
No, he gave up control of it.
That was recent, bro. When was that? Does anybody have the date? That was not that long ago.
I think it was like 2014.
Yeah, so we don't own the internet. I mean, we had that shit on lock. We were the free speech capital of the world, and could have kept that way. But instead, we had traitorous people in charge.
Yeah, it makes you wonder a little bit, huh? So speaking of Obama, he just had a Dr. Tucker is going to come in and give him a new diagnosis. Oh, excuse me. I apologize. We're getting a little ahead of myself.
Dr.
Let me back up.
We don't have any Tucker. We're just kidding.
Dr. Tucker's putting us in the waiting room. Along with, you know what? Let's skip that Wild Smile video. I was going to show it, but we got so many clips. Like, let's just skip that one for.
Wait, which one?
The Wild Smile clip. It doesn't say anything extra about the EU. So clip number 9. Why don't we go straight to number 10? Like, we need to have an express visit to Dr. Tucker's office, because he's got to tell us what's wrong with Obama.
All right, let's.
I'm down. Yep.
All right, if we're calling him Doctor now.
Dr. Tucker.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Veteran members of both parties in Washington suddenly seem pretty excited about forcing the president from office without bothering to call an election. Well, call that what you will. It's not democracy. Not that they care. They just want their power back. But before that happens, we have some questions for the permanent class in Washington about what exactly it is they believe and what they plan to do if they retake power. That's just ahead. But first, in case you were starting to sour on Donald Trump after all the drama of the last week, Barack Obama reappeared today to remind us why America elected Trump in the first place. In a remarkable departure from tradition and decorum, Obama gave a bitterly partisan campaign speech at the University of Illinois at Champaign-Urbana, in which he urged voters to support Democrats in the midterm elections. Like virtually all Obama speeches, the subtext was mostly about the omnipresence of white racism, which Obama, needless to say, blamed for the rise of Trump. But then he got creative. Watch, for example, as Obama blames the current administration for pursuing almost exactly the same Russia policy that he once did.
What happened to the Republican Party? Its central organizing principle in foreign policy.
How can I pander?
The fight against communism. And now
what can I say? It will make you clap.
How did a guy from Hawaii learn to talk like that? Where did he get that accent? It's pretty funny. But that was just an Obama went back to his favorite and endlessly recurring theme, Republican racism. Here's one quote. Each time we painstakingly pull ourselves closer to our founding ideals, that all of us are created equal, endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, somebody, somewhere, has pushed back. In other words, Republicans just hate equal rights. That's why they elected Trump. They're just like slaveholders in the antebellum South. Watch Obama explain.
I understand this is not just a matter of Democrats versus Republicans or liberals versus conservatives.
Big think.
At various times in our history, kind of politics has infected both parties.
Mr.
Southern
President still has
Democrats were the bigger defenders of
helicopter. He coined the use
yeah,
of
defenders
slavery.
of keeping slavery.
Racism did it. Interestingly, the one thing Obama didn't mention was the death of the American middle class. And that's odd because it was only in 2015, 7 years into Obama's presidency, when the middle class became a minority in this country for the first time in living memory. That was the pivotal event of the past several decades. It changed this country profoundly. It is the cause of nearly all of our current political turmoil. But to Obama, it simply never happened. And of course, 7 years of his policies had literally nothing to do with it. Throughout Washington, establishment figures burst into applause when they heard that. They don't want to talk about the dying middle class either. They're not interested, and they don't want to be implicated. So much easier just to blame racists under the bed. Chris Hahn is a radio show host in New York and a former staffer to Senator Chuck Schumer, and he joins us tonight. So, Chris, is it really that simple? I mean, the president said today, if you read the speech carefully, as I did, what most Democrats have been saying for the last 2 years, it's just racism. All of this is racism. People couldn't, Republicans, rural people, they just couldn't deal with all the equality. And so there was a backlash and they elected Trump. Is that really the explanation, do you think?
Yeah, I don't think that's really what he said today. And I think it's rich for anybody. I think it's rich for anybody to say that norms were not being followed today, which is what you opened with today, because norms have not been followed for the last 20 months by this president. And I think it's time that every good American start pushing back. And I think President Obama's speech today was a rallying cry to the entire country.
Okay. It was a campaign speech designed to get Democrats elected. He's a Democrat. I'm not begrudging him that. But I guess I would just make 2 points. One, if you're against overturning norms, then surely it must bother you that a recently retired president is giving a campaign speech. We have a norm that they don't do that. He just did. And since you're a defender of norms, you're not bothered?
No, I just don't think that the people universally disarm to a president who has decided to push every norm, including calling on the press, including, hold on, Tucker, including calling on the press to turn someone over to the government, which, you know, the Republican Party used to think that Obamacare was tyranny. Don't you think that's more tyrannical?
That's pretty brutal, dude.
Right. Yeah. You're talking. Okay. Whatever. It's also it's such a talking point. So look, that's fine. Then just don't ever lecture me about norms again. If it's bad for Trump to overturn norms, which he's certainly done, I'm not denying that. Obviously, he has.
Completely.
He has. And Obama just did it again today. But that's cool. And what Trump is doing is bad because why stop lecturing me about norms, please? But let's get back to the race thing. Look, because I think it's real. Obama, I read the speech. I watched the speech. Again and again, he says, this is part of a long cycle in American history. He says it out loud, where
I think Tucker's about to use
enfranchise certain groups in the country and certain reactionary elements hate that. And so they strike back. That's how Trump called it. He just said that. He blamed us on racism. And I'm asking you, do you think that's true? Is that really what the Trump election was about? Racism?
Oh shit, he went times 3.
And then I read it again preparing for this show. And President Obama said that there are genuinely people in this country that fear change, and it's not because of race. That's what he said today. Okay? Are there people in this country? Are there people in this country that have a racial element to their politics? Of course there are, Tucker. We both agree on that.
Yeah, Obama is first on that list, I would say. But let me ask you, honestly, don't you think if you're assessing what's going on in America, and Obama fancies himself as intellectual, as you know, and you guys pretend he is
a fucking book on your shelf.
Shouldn't you mention the death of the middle class in your speech? During his presidency, the middle class, for the first time in anyone's lifetime, became a minority in this country. That caused a ton of anxiety that, in my view, resulted in Trump's election. He doesn't even mention that. No one ever mentions that. Why? Yeah. I'm serious.
Because they blame Bush Jr.
President Obama took over an economy that was bleeding jobs, and he resuscitated it, including many industries that would have just gone away had it not been for the policies of the Obama administration. And you're right. The middle class did take a hit during the Obama administration, as it had done in the Bush administration as well.
Yes, I agree. Look, I'm not in prior administrations. Because I'm not a mindless partisan. I'm not defending George W. Bush.
It's not roaring back either, by the way. Let's be clear.
I don't think it is. And I'm not here to tout Republicans, who I attack regularly on the show. I just want someone to stop lying and concede that all of this is not about racism. It's about the death of our middle class, which will stay in the country for 100 years. Can you admit that?
I think that the pressure on the middle class is something that has absolutely contributed to our politics, Tucker. And it has also caused people who are under stress to take it out in ways that are not necessarily
You're stressed,
good.
Tucker. You're taking it out on me.
Yeah, that's probably true, but we should fix the problem. Racism.
Yeah, I agree. We should fix the problem.
God,
but
it's always the racism.
Man, he's losing it.
We should fix the problem, and I don't think that this president's capable of doing it.
Lost.
Fix the racism problem.
Racist will fix the problem. Maybe it will. Chris, thank you.
Wow.
Lovely.
So,
that was embarrassing for that. I mean, damn.
I know, right? But Tucker's not wrong.
Yeah, you got that point.
So there was a bit of drama in the Senate this week over the Kavanaugh hearing. Did you guys hear about that? Two different situations. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna watch Senator Kamala Harris grilling Brett Kavanaugh. I believe this is from the second hearing, not the first. I kind of want to hear what her questions are, so we can get an idea of the type of woman she is before we see the bullshit that she pulled at the first hearing.
Well, let's see.
Judge, have you ever discussed Special Counsel Mueller or his investigation with anyone?
Well, it's in the news every day.
Have you discussed it with anyone?
With other judges, I know.
Have you discussed Mueller or his investigation with anyone at Kasowitz, Benson, and Torres, the law firm founded by Mark Kasowitz, President Trump's personal lawyer? Be sure about your answer, sir.
Because I'm trying to pigeonhole you so that I can build a straw man and burn you down with it.
Are you certain you've not had a conversation with anyone at that law firm?
I bet you got a fucking napkin from one of them.
Kasowitz, Benson, and Torres, which is the law firm founded by Mark Kasowitz, who is President Trump's personal lawyer. Have you had any conversation
here it is.
Robert Mueller or his investigation with
Impeach
anyone
45.
at that firm?
Impeach 45.
Yes or no?
Is there a person you're talking about?
I'm asking you a very direct question. Yes or no? Who'd you talk to?
I don't think I'm not remembering, but I'm happy to be refreshed, or if you want to tell me who you're thinking of who works.
Are you saying that with all that you remember, you have an impeccable memory? You've been speaking for almost 8 hours, I think more, with this committee about all sorts of things you remember. How can you not remember whether or not you had a conversation about Robert Mueller or his investigation with anyone at that law firm? This investigation has only been going on for so long, sir. So
right,
please
I'm not
answer
sure.
the question.
Trying to think. Do I know anyone who works at that firm? I might know.
Have you had? That's not my question. My question is, have you had a conversation with anyone at that firm about that investigation? It's a really specific question.
I would like to know the person you're thinking of, because what if there's
I think you're thinking of someone and you don't want to tell us.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah.
She's just being a cunt, bro. No.
It's Kamala Harris, bro.
What? Oh, fuck that shit. Fuck that.
Dude, every
Fuck
time
that.
I've ever seen her, I've been like, that cunt.
She's pretty rough, dude. She's pretty
I
rough.
don't really use that word like super often, but like I swear to you, she deserves it.
She is what it is. But anyway, so let's see what else happened. So at the Brett Kavanaugh hearing, there was some more drama.
Should we just cut to it, or
go for it?
I'm not having any sound on this one. Sorry. Give me just a quick sec.
Good morning. I welcome everyone to this confirmation hearing on the nomination of
Mr. Chairman.
Brett Kavanaugh.
Mr. Chairman.
To serve as Associate Justice.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized for a question before we proceed.
Oh my God.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized to ask a question before we proceed. The committee received just last night, less than 15 hours ago, 42,000 pages of documents that we have not had an opportunity to review or read or analyze.
You're out of order. I'll proceed.
We cannot possibly move forward, Mr. Chairman,
I
with this
extend
hearing.
a very warm welcome
we have not
to
been
Judge
given
Kavanaugh,
an opportunity to have a meaningful
his wife,
hearing on
Ashley,
this nominee.
their two daughters.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with my colleague Senator Harris. Mr. Chairman, we received
How's this?
Here we go. Virtue signal battle.
that we haven't been
everyone else joining
to review last night, and we believe this hearing should be posted.
Someone's got to start praying. Like, that's the trifecta. Someone on the right, someone on the left, and some religious person praying. That'd be perfect.
Chairman, I move to adjourn. Directly from Judge
Do
Kavanaugh.
we have a better clip, Redbox? We can't really
The
hear
next
anything
one,
on this one.
You know what? Kill this clip.
Yeah.
And then we'll just go to the next one.
Sorry, guys.
Judge Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court confirmation hearings kicked off Tuesday morning with a bang. There was so much political drama, you'd think the Democrats were up for an Oscar. So we wanted to honor them with their own awards. To help hand them out, as White House senior advisor.
What happens when half your politicians are from Hollywood?
Schlapp. All right, Mercedes, we took a look at some of the best performances from the week, and we decided Kamala Harris, senator from California, was going to be given the rudest senator award. Here's just a sampling of why. Roll it.
On the nomination of
Mr. Chairman.
Brett Kavanaugh.
Mr. Chairman.
To serve as Associate Justice.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized for a question before we proceed.
You're out of order. I'll proceed.
We cannot possibly move forward, Mr. Chairman,
I
with this
extend
hearing.
a very warm welcome
We have not
to
been
Judge
given
Kavanaugh.
an opportunity to have a meaningful hearing on this nominee.
Their two daughters.
Have you discussed Mueller or his investigation with anyone at Kasowitz, Benson, and Torres, the law firm founded by Mark Kasowitz, President Trump's personal lawyer? Be sure about your answer, sir. It's a really specific question.
I would like to know the person you're thinking of.
I think you're thinking of someone and you don't want to tell us.
Ooh.
Oh.
I don't know, Mercedes. She interrupts right away before the hearing even begins and then gets snarky with someone who's probably a lot smarter and a lot more savvy. What's with the attitude?
Well, I think we're confusing Senator Kamala Harris with one of the protesters, one of the many protesters that were there during the hearing. And it was amazing to watch how disrespectful she was to Senator Grassley as he was even trying to give a very basic introduction. But there's one thing Jesse, that you're missing, which is that Senator Harris basically referred to the Constitution to, quote, that book that you are carrying. And she said that to
just
Brett
that
Kavanaugh.
little book.
No kidding. That book, our Constitution.
And
so
she should know better. I mean, wasn't she a big shot litigator over in San Francisco? And you know what? I don't want to disparage her too much. She's very talented. She comes across as very charismatic.
San Francisco, isn't that the city where they have to bleach the streets because people don't know how to shit in the toilet?
She's turning into a little bit of a villain, if you ask me.
Superpower by 2020.
This is the, I guess, best male performance in a drama. I'm going to give this to Cory Booker. Would you agree? Listen to this.
I appreciate that. I'm
one of the best moments.
Sir, I'm going to push it just 2 or 3 more minutes. I sincerely believe that the public deserves to know this nominee's record. In this particular case, his record on issues of race and the law. And I could not understand, and I violated this rule knowingly, why these issues should be withheld from the public. This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment.
What? Spartacus, Mercedes.
Did you, Jesse, that looks like a political ad. Are you just going to hand that over to Cory? Come on.
We'll just run that 30 seconds, slap it on.
All right, volunteers, tribute.
You know, obviously, he emboldened himself, comparing himself to the gladiator. But quite frankly, we know that those documents were already cleared for release.
Exactly.
The rest of America might have not known that.
And the big document that he released, I guess he tried to make Kavanaugh look racist. Turns out it made Kavanaugh look not racist. So it blew up in his face. All right, the next award, and I think you'd agree with me on this selection since we poured over the video together for many, many hours, Mercedes. This goes to Senator Hirono from Hawaii as the most unprepared. And I have to say, I'm forced to watch this because this is my job. We've seen many hearings with this Senator Hirono. And she constantly is reading from her notes. It's like she has no original thought in her head and always seems confused. Let's just look at some tape.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, it is also...
I think
Mr. Chairman, it is also not regular order for the majority to require the minority to pre-clear our questions, our documents, and the videos we would like to use at this hearing. That is unprecedented. That is not regular order.
Somebody shut that dog up.
I mean, I love her. I mean, I think she means
well. Those were protesters,
though.
My friend.
Just doesn't come across as someone that's just there all the time, if you know what I mean.
I don't know if it was because of the over 12 hours of hearing a day that she lost track of the documents she was reviewing. But I think one of the things that she tried to do was to accuse Judge Kavanaugh of being biased. And quite frankly, when you looked at the documents, it was more about mainstream legal thinking. And obviously, Kavanaugh addressed that issue very eloquently.
All right. Lastly, we're going to play some sound from Blumenthal, who tried to humiliate Kavanaugh. He's a hypocrite. He lied about going to war in Vietnam. Let's just watch this.
Of course, I know Mr. Mueller personally from my prior experience I haven't seen him in a long time, but I knew him when we worked together in the Bush administration. So, but I've had no discussions of the kind that I think you're asking.
God, one of them looks like leather.
Well, I'm asking about the kind you're thinking about.
Botox sounds like leather, too.
Well, I haven't had any discussions
Botox
of the kind
leather.
I'm thinking about either.
So, he lies about going to war and then tries to accuse Kavanaugh of not having integrity. Got it. Mercedes, thank you so much. It was a great awards, and I'll see you at the after
Thank
party.
you. Thanks.
Okay. Well done.
Yeah. How about that?
So, wait, has he been confirmed or not?
I don't believe he's been confirmed yet.
So are we going to have another shit show to watch tomorrow or something, or is what?
God, I hope so.
All right, set up this next one for us, bro.
All right, so Trump has been kind of hounding Jeff Sessions for a while. He wants him to investigate this New York Times op-ed. So let's take a look at this because it's been mentioned a few times in our show already. Let's see what the fuss is all about.
Wait, Jeff Sessions or this New York Times op-ed?
This covers a little bit of both.
We begin this morning with the narrowing hunt for the Trump administration official who wrote that highly critical op-ed article in the New York Times.
The White House reportedly has a short list of who it might be.
Huh?
This comes after President Trump called on Attorney General Jeff Sessions to launch an investigation. Meanwhile, the New York Times is promising to keep the writer's identity a secret.
The newspaper released a statement reading in part, quote, "The president's threats both underscore why we must safeguard the identity of the writer of this op-ed and serve as a reminder of the importance of a free and independent press to American democracy." Mola Linke joins us now from the White House with more. Mola, good morning.
Well, good morning. As speculation swirls about who was behind this scathing piece, more than 24 officials, including the vice president, have come out denying they wrote it. Meanwhile, President Trump has escalated his attacks on its author and on Bob Woodward for his critical new book on the Trump administration. The president calling Woodward an idiot and his book a work of fiction.
Totally phony quotes. I mean, totally like fraudulent books.
In South Dakota Friday night, President Trump continued to blame what he called lousy libel laws for the scathing allegations in Bob Woodward's new book, Fear, Trump in the White House.
Create some libel laws that when people say stuff bad about you, you can sue them, and if you're right, you win. Would you please do that? Then you'd see books that would be really like, hey, Trump has done a great job.
Earlier in an interview, Mr. Trump said it's only a matter of time before the White House figures out the identity of the anonymous official who claims to be part of a resistance within the administration.
When you first saw this New York Times piece, in your gut, who's the first person that came to your head?
Well, I could think of 4 or 5, mostly people that either I don't like or respect. The fact is that we'll find
it's something in national security.
Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One, President Trump said he wants the Department of Justice to open an investigation.
Jeff should be investigating who the author of that piece was, because I really believe it's national security.
Top administration officials have come out in full force denying they were behind the op-ed, including United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley, who wrote one of her own, calling the writer cowardly and anti-democratic.
The Times should never have done that, because really what they've done is virtually, it's treason.
Some Republican lawmakers disagreed they would
Is that
go
a MAGA
that
rally
far.
or a...
No, it's not treason under the law.
MAGA rally.
It's disloyalty. It is cowardly.
House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy said in a letter to the editor to the New York Times
Lindsey Graham,
that the official should
bending the
be exposed and fired. The Department of Justice has declined to comment. Anthony?
Mola Linke at the White House. Thanks, Mola.
NBC.
I figured you'd enjoy that.
I did very much.
So that's just a quick like recap on what's going on with that, and I figured it'd be good to touch on it because it's in the news cycle. It's not huge, but it's in the news cycle. I think it's a smokescreen. That's just me.
Well, I mean, obviously. I mean, you've got...
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. The leak is real.
Well,
but I think the way that it's used, it's, like, distracting from the Kavanaugh hearing and a bunch of other stuff. So
they're trusting an anonymous source. That's my biggest thing. They're trusting an anonymous source just because it says exactly what they want it to say. I mean, let's just be honest and just be upfront with that right now. That's what they're doing. That's fucking bullshit.
No. They had one of their writers. They had someone write. Yeah, they know the source. They had someone write the article, and then they published it. It didn't say who it was.
And expecting everybody to believe it.
Yes. And a lot of people do because it's the New York Times.
What a wonderful world. All right, so what are we moving on to next?
All right, so we're going to have a little bit more Tucker. So a little bit of Tucker therapy, and then we're going to go into like an extended high note.
All right.
NBC News actively covered up Harvey Weinstein's abuse of women. That was clear months ago when the story first broke, and we told you about it then. It's even clearer now. The remarkable thing is that NBC is still lying about it, but more elaborately. In a long memo released last night, NBC News chairman Andy Lack spent 11 pages claiming that his network couldn't air Ronan Farrow's investigation of Weinstein, the same piece that later ran in The New Yorker and won a Pulitzer Prize. There just wasn't enough evidence, Lack said. There weren't any on-the-record allegations against Harvey Weinstein. Well, that is false, and now we can prove it is. On her NBC show this morning, Megyn Kelly bravely pointed out, because she still works there, that there was, in fact, an on-the-record source against Harvey Weinstein.
Because she still works there.
NBC knew this because McGowan's claim was included in a script that made it to the very top of the company, and that included the general counsel of the company. We spoke to a source by phone who read us the pertinent line from that script. Here it is. Quote, in later conversations with NBC News, she, Rose McGowan, specifically named Weinstein. Well, there you have it. That's the story right there. Done cold. Of course, NBC also had videotape shot by police in New York of Harvey Weinstein himself confessing to abuse on camera. So they had the whole thing nailed. And they suppressed it, and it protected Weinstein. Now they're lying about it. We probably shouldn't be surprised by any of this. NBC News also lied about the infamous Access Hollywood tape, which they leaked to the Washington Post on the eve of a presidential debate in order to influence the outcome of that debate and the election. And then to compound the crime, they fired and humiliated their own anchor, Billy Bush, for the crime of, actually, we're not sure what the crime was. But we do know that NBC lied to its viewers and to the rest of us throughout that whole episode. We have asked NBC repeatedly to account for it. How did a secretly recorded videotape that was their property get from their offices to the hands of NBC News chief Noah Oppenheim's college buddy, David Fahrenthold, at the Washington Post? We asked that question because transparency is at the heart of every legitimate news organization, but not at the heart of NBC. They won't answer our question. That's not surprising. What is surprising, if you think about it for a minute, is why NBC didn't run the Weinstein story in the first place. They knew it was factually true. It was news. It was a story. It met the definition. But they also, more critically, knew that Ronan Farrow might hurt them if they killed the story. And, of course, in the end, he did hurt them badly. They knew that might happen, but they killed it anyway. Why did they do that? We decided to investigate this question, and we did. We spoke to a number of people with direct knowledge of this story. And here's what we got. Harvey Weinstein had a long and documented history of using private investigators to unearth damaging information about people who threatened him. He did that repeatedly to many people. He did it to the New York Times, for example.
Quite a few of them were ex-Mossad agents.
People close to the story believe that he did. Some within the company believe that Weinstein threatened to reveal damaging information about NBC's then biggest star, Matt Lauer. So we asked NBC about this today. We asked directly. They answered a number of our questions, but notably, they ignored our question about Matt Lauer completely. That's interesting. Here's another question.
Whoa.
How many people within the hierarchy of NBC knew about all of this? One obvious person to ask is Chuck Todd. He's the network's political director. He's the host of Meet the Press. Todd is a famously connected guy.
Todd cracks me up because he looks hilarious.
How could he not know what was happening inside his own company?
He looks like a cartoon character.
NBC gets the biggest scoop of the year and then kills it mysteriously. Of course Chuck Todd knew. What does he think of that? Is squelching first-person accounts of sexual assault by powerful men consistent with Chuck Todd's view of journalism? Is it ethical? Did Chuck Todd ever complain about this inside the building at NBC? Why didn't he quit over it? Or is it better just to shut up and pretend that sexual assault didn't happen in the hopes of keeping the highest paying job he'll ever have? Maybe that's the answer. We don't know for sure because Chuck Todd didn't respond to our questions when we reached out today. But we'll call again. Soon we'll have occasion to call because the Daily Beast is preparing what sounds like a blockbuster investigation into serious and widespread personal misconduct, both at MSNBC and at NBC News. It sounds shocking, and from what we can tell, it sounds true. We'll check back with Chuck Todd when it comes out, and we'll see what he has to say. Meantime, Larry O'Connor is associate editor of the Washington Times, and he joins us tonight. So, Larry, NBC has changed its story just within the last 24 hours. Initially, Andy Lack said we had no on-the-record evidence or claim of any alleged victim of Harvey Weinstein. That's why we didn't run the story.
Right. Couldn't run it because they wouldn't go on the record.
Exactly. Now, the script has come to light from last summer in which Rose McGowan is quoted saying, on the record, he abused me. Now Lack is saying we had no on-camera, on-the-record accusation. A, shouldn't he admit he lied? And B, you don't need an on-camera account to run it.
Of course, especially when you've got Harvey Weinstein on video from the New York Police Department,
honestly, this
basically
is pretty cut and
apologizing
dry.
for
We
the
could probably
sexual assault against the one victim that sort of blew the story up.
Yeah, let's go ahead and skip this. We don't need the talking heads. Tucker already pretty much gave it to us straight.
Oh yeah.
That pretty much covers what's been going on with that whole Harvey Weinstein situation. That's still ongoing. That case is not going to be settled for a while, guys. So we're going to follow that the whole way through.
Damn right we are.
All right, so let's take a look around here. All right, the next one. So you guys are on Twitter. You know that Alex Jones got banned, right?
Yep.
You want to see what got Alex Jones banned from everything for life?
Yes, very, very, very much.
This moment, I believe, is what got him banned because shortly afterwards, he was done.
Yeah, it's hilarious. No, he posted it. They said that was the reason. Mark Dice did a bit on it. He said that it was because it broke their rules and shit, and then Mark showed a bunch of other shit from Twitter that was way worse. And he's like, why doesn't this break your rules? And then, like, Maxine Waters is calling to, like, harass people in public and stuff like that, and that's all over Twitter, which is way worse than what he did. And they took him off for what you'll see, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he still shouldn't have touched a politician. He's lucky that he didn't get arrested.
This better be bad, guys. This better be bad.
Watch the Secret Service guy behind Rubio to just over his right shoulder. Our left.
All right, man. Yeah. Who are you? Yeah, sure.
Right behind Alex Jones's head.
InfoWars. Better than Rush Limbaugh. He knows who InfoWars is. Playing this joke over here. That's why, and the deplatforming didn't work.
But here's a question. Here's a question.
Hey, don't touch me again, man. I'm asking you not to touch me. Well, sure, I just patted you nicely.
I know, but I don't want to be. I don't know.
You want me to get arrested?
I don't know who you are.
It's not just going to take my First Amendment.
Man.
It's not just enough to take my First Amendment. Oh, he'll beat me up.
I didn't say that.
I know I am, but he's so mad. You're not going to silence me. You're not going to silence America.
See, he's trying to gaslight him.
You are literally like a little gangster thug.
There are
Yeah,
people in this
look at this. Like,
to physically take care
I don't know if it's that Alex Jones.
Why the hell's that guy wearing a Google Glass?
He tells you China's the problem, which it is.
Come again?
They're taking our free speech right now.
Social media platforms, Facebook.
There goes Rubio.
Twitter.
I
mean, one thing is to say we're going to go after foreign interference designed to so and so.
But it's already going on here.
Another thing is to
the
say
Democrats
we're
are
going to
Yeah, you can see the surveillance kit on the Secret Service guy's tie.
Between, misinformation from abroad and differences of opinion within the United States.
And that's happening
here.
here.
It's a very fine line, and that's something we need to be careful about. We don't overreach in that direction.
But then he doesn't know about InfoWars being banned. He doesn't know about the top news story in the country.
InfoWars.
Not just how they
buy the product.
But they don't become agents of authoritarian regimes abroad to crack down on free speech because.
I wonder why Rubio got so mad at me and threatened me
There's
physically.
a balance between what is free speech and.
He didn't threaten you.
Dude's sweating his ass off.
Yeah, man, I gotta go to the committee. You guys can talk to this clown.
Oh, yeah. Frat boys, so cool. Back to the bathhouse.
Oh,
what the hell does that guy have a Google
There he
Glass?
goes.
Seriously.
That is no. Hold on.
Anyways.
That is what got him banned. You understand now?
Wait. Where? Which part?
Scroll back about 10 seconds.
Your bathhouse. Frat boys, so cool. Go back to your bathhouse. Compromise at the bathhouses.
Wait, what?
There goes Rubio, little punk.
Do you not understand?
Holy
shit! Authoritarian regimes.
Holy shit!
He's like, you're compromised because you go to bathhouses and fuck random men.
Holy fuck!
Dun dun dun.
Yep. So it was like, you gotta understand, like, he not only touched Marco Rubio, like, he just, like, decided to go straight up, like, full 100% deep dick crazy.
Yeah, he called him a frat boy, and then he said he was compromised in bathhouses.
Yep. So our next clip is a little bit of a longer one. We're not going to play the whole thing because we really don't need to, but there was it looked like a Bernie bro might have snuck in with a group of pro MAGA people at the rally. I think over in Montana.
Shit was funny.
Something stood out to us at the president's rally in Billings, Montana last night,
Yep.
and you may have noticed it too. I want you to take a look. Look at the guy in the plaid shirt to the left of the president. He's screen left, but actually he's standing behind the president's right shoulder, okay? So you can see him making faces and even seeming to mouth something in response to the president's speech. Watch this.
It's hard and harder to win than popular vote. Popular vote, you go to 3-4 states and boom, 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 you win the. It's like the 100-yard dash versus running the mile. You practice differently. She forgot that. She forgot to go to a couple of very important states.
His reactions to the president's comments went viral, earning him the nickname Plaid Shirt Guy on social media. Well, his real name is Tyler Linfesti, and he is a senior at Billings West High School, and he joins me now.
Did you guys dox him first or what?
Thank you for joining us. Good evening. You have become a viral sensation since this rally.
People wanted to be famous.
I want to play another clip, and then we're going to talk. Here it is.
We've picked up a lot of support because
they're so happy
at
with
some point
him.
this whole thing is going to be exposed. More Americans are working today than ever before.
Who cares who this guy is? Who cares?
Oh my God, I'm a meme.
Yeah, that's it. He's a meme.
That was not true. But listen, you're not a Republican, but you're not a Trump supporter. In fact, you were wearing a Democratic Socialist America pin, which you're wearing now.
Holy fuck.
Why were you there?
Yes. Well,
we called that
I
ahead of
signed up
time,
to
by
go
the
to the
way.
rally about a week before the rally was going to happen. I brought 3 of my friends with me, and honestly, I just wanted to go just to, see the president and hear what he had to say. I mean, I'm not going to pass up the opportunity to see the president of the United States.
Yeah. Well, so, Tyler, were you deliberately making faces, or was that a natural reaction?
Look at him.
All of those reactions were my actual reaction. I would have made those faces if anyone would say that to me. I was not trying to protest. Those were just my actual honest reactions.
Yes, that's why he wanted to sit right behind the president with his pen and view the camera.
Says things that are not true. But the people there are eating
Here we
it up.
go.
Do you think they know it's not
No
true?
lemon.
You did. You were like,
right.
Well, that you said at one point not true, and then you said what? And I think you said,
yeah.
Have you? When he said he's gained more supporters.
Yeah, man, I know. I came in and infiltrated the cult. I did a good job, right? Yeah, man, you did a good job.
I see one of these rallies.
Power.
I see people behind Donald Trump clapping and cheering and being super
All
enthusiastic.
right, kill this shit.
Fuck this
You know
guy.
what this is?
Are those?
No. You know what this is? Do you know what counting coup is?
No, obviously not.
Okay, so counting coup is this Native American thing, and basically the idea behind it is that you get close to your enemy and you take something from them. You don't take something from them that's like, worth a shitload or anything like that. Like you might get close to someone and take like a button or like a lock of hair, or that's what they used to do. The Native American warriors, they'd get close to you and take something from you, or they'd get close to you in battle, and it was a sign of bravery. And that's usually what the different headdresses meant, was they'd have a feather for each coup that they counted. Anyway, that being said, that's what this guy's essentially doing. He's a lefty. He's like, oh man, Trump's in town. I gotta go virtue signal. I'm gonna get right behind him, and then I'm gonna wear my pin, and everyone's gonna see it. And he stands there and he realizes
Stacy will go out with me.
Right, Trump. Well, no, because there's big screens in those events, right? So he looks at the screen and realizes that he's on the camera, and he has a thought. And now he's on CNN.
Oh my God.
The video of him getting removed from the crowd is pretty good.
Yeah, the slow-mo video of him getting removed is awesome.
But anyway, last thing I think we have for the evening, and it's the final part of our high note. It's Elon Musk's Tesla shares took a dump because he smoked weed with Joe Rogan.
Dude, I almost went and just bought some shares because of that.
I saw this whole podcast. It was amazing. Anyway, here's the clip.
So is that a joint?
He is one of the world's most successful CEOs with a net worth estimated at more than $20 billion.
And here
So
he
when
is,
Elon
smoking
Musk
weed
started
like
smoking a
everyone
joint
else.
On comedian Joe Rogan's podcast, people noticed.
You probably can't because stockholders, right?
I mean, it's legal, right?
It's totally legal.
Okay.
How does that work? Did people get upset at you?
Tobacco and marijuana in there. That's all it is.
He's like,
it's just
huh.
the latest bizarre incident for the high-profile CEO of Tesla and SpaceX. He's had a turbulent couple of months.
I mean, alcohol
turbulent.
So
It looks like he's having a good time. What are you talking about?
I need to collect a bunch of stills from that interview and get some emojis and emotes made for our servers.
Last month, during an emotional interview at the New York Times, Musk said that 120-hour work weeks were taking a toll on his physical health. I've had friends come by who are really concerned, he said. Some of Tesla's board members have raised concern about his use of the prescription drug Ambien, which Musk admits he sometimes takes to help him sleep. A little red wine, vintage record, some Ambien, and magic, he tweeted last year. The 47-year-old engineer has been called the real-life Tony Stark, better known as Iron Man, but his reputation taking serious hits.
He's a great tech visionary. It's not clear that he's necessarily a great business leader, and I think that's the fundamental problem that he's running into right now.
Musk's judgment was also questioned when he announced he wanted to take Tesla private. The company lost nearly $2 billion last year and has never earned a profit. Amid a chorus of criticism, he reversed course, saying Tesla will remain public. And even his admirers had to be dumbfounded when he attacked one of the British divers who helped rescue 12 boys this summer trapped in a Thailand cave. After Musk proposed using a kid-sized submarine to rescue the boys, the diver called it a PR stunt. Musk retaliated, calling the man a pedo, short for pedophile. Musk later apologized, but then last week in an email to BuzzFeed escalated the attack,
I remember that, but
calling him a child rapist. BuzzFeed says Musk did not provide proof of the claims. The diver is reportedly planning to sue.
I'm excited for that.
Did you ever see the tweet from Musk about copious amounts of crack?
No.
Dude, somebody asked him how he does it, and he said copious amounts of crack. And then he came back a little while later and said, actually, just a small amount.
I mean,
Yeah, cracks me up.
I don't get it. I don't get it. What's the problem there? What's the issue?
Just a little crack. Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack. Damn. So that's pretty much all the clips we got for the show. I did want to do a bit of an announcement. For those of you that are doing the whole following the QAnon posts and stuff like that, but there's been a lot of controversy over which bot to use. And there's a lot of bots that work and don't work, and there's some that are maintained and others that aren't maintained so good. And some people have a private bot and they won't share it, so you can't self-host it. I've kind of talked to a couple people about that, and in the future there may be something that we distribute on our website that's free for people to be able to use on their own Discord server. Something that we don't host. Something that they can self-host, like spreading the actual source code.
Sounds like a brilliant idea.
I like open source, man.
No other way to do it. No other way to do it.
So, anyway, I just kind of wanted to throw that out there because it's kind of been worked on. As far as our server goes, the Q Clearance Archive, I am still working on the bot. I had a little bit of a setback in my phone, but I have ordered a Razer phone. Super excited about it. I've been talking to everyone's ear off about it. If you happen to be looking
everybody
for a
about
phone,
that phone, dude.
discount code out for it. It's really good. Super excited. But it should improve my mobile podcasting experience by quite a bit, actually. So hopefully everything works out the way I want it to.
Yeah, the way that you do this, I think, is amazing, man. It's actually really awesome.
Well, once I have the phone and it has a bigger screen, I'll have my. I'm going to use a USB Type-C dongle, and I'm going to connect a wireless mouse and keyboard, and then I'm going to do coding from work and anywhere that I'm at.
Ninja.
Awesome. Razer, R-A-Z-E-R.
Like a phone that they advertised specifically for to gamers, wasn't it?
Yeah, not the
I mean,
Motorola, bro.
it is advertised to gamers. It doesn't. Okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and wrap up the podcast, and then we'll continue talking about this live.
Sounds like a good idea. All right. So then,
because like we'll continue talking about this, we'll just let it run on our live stream. We'll just chop it off of the regular video.
Sounds good to me. All right, then I guess that's it. We're calling it for the night. That was a good, pretty nice show, I would say. What do y'all think?
Yeah, it was good, man.
I really enjoyed it.
I did. I learned a shit ton.
Hey, boss, guess what?
What?
You know what you should never, ever forget?
Oh, it's that stuff about buying water, ain't it?
Yep, that's the one.
God damn it. I was trying to preemptively strike this time, and you fucking got me.
Preemptively? Oh, come on. You couldn't even get there even if it... Nah, you've got it.
Buy liquor.
All right, so then I take it we're cut.
Yeah. Okay, so the phone, okay, it's on par with the Galaxy S8. The camera is okay, so it's weird because the camera, the actual physical sensors are better because there's more sensors and they do more things, but the image stabilization is not good. So arguably the camera is like middling, but it's got a 120 hertz display.
120 hertz.
So it has 120 frames per second, bro. Normal phones don't do above 60, so it's like it'll do like 90 on regular, and then it has like stereo speakers. It's got a 4,000 milliamp battery. I think it has Snapdragon 83. Is that right?
Snapdragon
8300. Razer. The company that makes the phone is Razer. Let me grab the.
I'm just working around
link
here
for
on this
you.
frickin' Google Pixel, man. They can hear every single word I'm saying.
Well, are you looking at getting a new phone soon? Because I think this deal ends today.
Oh, no. I'm way too broke for that. You kidding?
I was gonna say, it's a $700 phone. They're doing $300 off.
Ooh. Nice.
So.
Okay, so it's got 8 gig of RAM with a Snapdragon 835.
Yeah, which is pretty dope.
835's not bad at all.
That's like just the. It's not the bleeding edge. It's the one. It's the one right before.
You can get like a 500 gigabyte SD card.
You can do up to 2 terabytes, but there's nothing that's 2 terabytes yet.
Start running Windows 95.
I was thinking, okay, I'm considering whether or not to run Linux on it, but I think what I'm going to do instead is still run Android, and then I'm going to use a remote program to remote into my PC at home and do some Python coding on PC at home with my phone.
Dude, that's actually awesome. That's...
Yeah. And then with the hub, I could get a condenser mic, and then we can have better audio for the podcast while I'm on the road.
That sounds so
arguably, while
amazing.
we're in
Yeah,
studio,
arguably that's an amazing, brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Nice phone.
So
nice phone.
I'm collecting I'm getting a few accessories for it. I'll get the condenser mic probably in a few weeks. And then I'm looking for a bag to carry all this extra shit that I'm gonna take with me places.
What kind of bag? Like a laptop bag or like a wallet sort of thing?
Probably, well, it's gonna have to hold a keyboard and a mouse and a USB dongle and some power cords and some assorted like gadgets that are gonna plug into it, like, you know, condenser mics, and not like rough them up.
Think we'll be having you as a reporter out in the field at some point?
That'd be kind of interesting.
would.
I'd like to. I might look at those. Okay, not to blow up our shit, but there's this really great history podcast called the History on Fire, and he always plugs this company called Datsusara, and they make hemp bags, so I might go look at those. Yeah, it's a really cool phone. The only problem that I have with the phone, the only gripe, it's not waterproof at all.
Isn't there
It's
a
not
spray
waterproof.
for that?
It's not dust-proof, so you have to get a nice case. And I've got a case that I'm ordering tonight. I found a rugged case on Amazon that's kind of like an OtterBox. It's a 3-part case that has it's like a polyacrylic shell that goes over the screen. It's nice.
Dude, I don't know how it's possible, but the front of my screen on my Galaxy S7 is completely smashed. Like, it has holes that go all the way to, it looks like the pixels on the screen. But I take that shit in the shower every single day. I rinse it off when it's dirty, and it's still waterproof.
What I need to know is how to plug my Galaxy Note 5 into my new Razr when I get it, so that I can access the storage that's on this damn thing.
They have your USB dongle that you're getting should work. Oh wait, no, because it's USB. There's one that comes with a Galaxy S7. Did you get that little white dongle with your Note 5?
It's a Note 5. It's a USB. It's a micro USB. But I'm gonna get it. You don't understand. I'm getting a USB Type-C hub, son. It has charge through, so you plug your charger into it, you plug it into your phone, and then it charges devices off of it. So I'm gonna put a little.
Well, yeah, you should be able to plug your other phone.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna try to plug my phone
into it that way.
Exactly, but I wonder if there's software that I need to use in order to access it. But we'll have to see.
Keyboard
I think
and mouse.
Android just does it. It asks you if you want to.
It'll be really. This is going to be a fun project. I'm going to have such a little ghetto setup with multiple Android devices.
Like out of the back of a van or some shit, and just showing up everywhere with all your Android connected everything.
I mean, I never thought I'd be running a setup like this, but yeah, honestly, this is more ideal than a laptop because I don't like the form factor of a laptop.
I gotta agree with you there.
Yeah, but anyway, let's see here. iPhones. Did you have any more questions about the phone, Juan? I got a buddy that's been running this thing for a year. One of the things I always thought was cool about the form factor of the phone, even though it's kind of a brick, is that the power button on the side is the fingerprint reader.
Ninja.
That's pretty freaking ninja right there.
Yeah, I dig it a lot. So there's only 3 external buttons on it.
Laptops
and there's no
apparently cook your nuts. I just want to point that out that Bella just said that.
Oh damn. Ooh. Especially in Canada.
Oh man.
But yeah, try it out. The other interesting thing about this deal is that I don't know, most headphones probably won't support it properly, but the Razr phone comes with a dongle that's not just a dongle for audio, it's also a digital audio converter. So it's like having a micro sound card that processes audio coming from your phone. And there's a shitload of settings for being able to like equalize sound. It actually has some of the best audio on out of a phone.
Ninja.
That's one of the reasons why I'm like, man, I could really use this for podcasting.
Yeah.
I wonder if I'll be the first person to podcast from one.
I need to get they sell it. They sell a USB DAC for some of the headphones that I have. I spent $580 on the fuckers, but I don't have a fucking external DAC on my PC, so it's just like whatever. I don't get the full umph out of them.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear too. It should be here Wednesday, I think, Juan. It came out last year. It's basically on the same par as I would say the Note 8 and the S9. I think the Note 9 might have a better processor. and a better camera, I think. I need to look at a stylus for it tonight. If you guys have a suggestion for stylus, hit me up.
I don't know. I just use my fingers.
Oh, I know.
I don't like them stylus.
I use them for photo editing on my phone.
Just use your penis, man. Precision pointer.
But I'm tish.
Wow. That reminds me of this time I told my buddy I'd dick stab him, and I had my penis in a pencil sharpener and decided that was a bad idea.
That was a bad joke, bro.
Yeah, you remember we're live, right?
I do remember we're live. But yeah, I'm excited about it. It's kind of a neat deal. I'm not a Razer shill. I've never owned Razer products. I'm not being endorsed by Razer. Fucking ads are gay. I just think it's a cool deal, and you know, it's like a neat phone that's only $400 right now.
Speak for yourself, boss. I was gonna pretend I was rich, you dick.
Yeah. Well, we can't all be rich like you, brother. You're like,
I'm just kidding.
I mean, you're not like a rich, but I would call you like, you're like a slumlord.
Slumlord millionaire.
Shit. Alright, guys. I think it's time to head out. I'll catch you guys later.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one. We'll see y'all next week.